Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Gemini energy. And we're going to do this 10 card spread and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because life is about learning lessons. Gemini, air sign energy, is a dualistic sign. It talks about our dualistic nature. We all have our more worldly, shadowy nature, which can be our fear, insecurity, pride, ego, lust, greed, self-centered nature, all those kind of things. Some people have, with the death card, detached from a layer. We have layers and layers. And as we move forward in life, hopefully we learn lessons and we shed more layers. See more through how our pride, our ego, our fear, our insecurity stops us from loving ourselves, loving others, having our dreams come into reality if we want just, fair, balanced, authentic, loving lives and relationships. And some people have learned some more lessons than some other people in life, right? Some people don't. The death card can be people who don't want to change. I have a way of living life, viewing life. That's the way I live it. And, they're looking for people who maybe have that same philosophy of life or are willing to indulge them in their shadowy, non-life-giving, loving ways of being. So, we all tap into Gemini energy. It has to do with what our truth is, what we love, and what we want to manifest. So I view this card as the overarching reason for the reading, which is the Four of Cups, which is Cancer energy. We all have the free will to take that cup of love, to love and believe in ourselves, to heal from past pain and heartbreak, to offer love to situations so we can release things and let them go and move on with our life. And some people aren't willing to do that. Some people don't want to do love. That can be hard for people to understand if in their Gemini nature, they do have hope and faith and belief in love. But some people made a decision in their life. I'm not doing love. I get hurt. I'm not doing it. Or I don't even believe in it. If there's people out there that believe in love, I'm going to try to manipulate and control them because they're fools and suckers. And I'm not a fool and a sucker anymore. I don't believe in love, And then this is kind of the end of the story. Well, let's wait till we get to that. But anyway, we start out with the Death card, the Magician, and the Knight of Cups. Then we have the Hangman, the Page of Pentacles, the Fool, the Page of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and the Three of Wands. High vibe people, the Death card can talk about death and transformation. They aren't the same person they were before because they took that cup of love to be willing to detach from an old way of living life and viewing themselves, viewing the world, what they thought was just and fair. They took that cup of love and they're aligning. The Magician is Gemini and Virgo energy. I believe I do have the resources to begin to manifest my dreams into reality. I just need to invest in those things, which is, the Magician has the four elements on the table: my heart, my mind, my truth, my creativity, my imagination, my unique talent, skills, and interest, and start putting work and effort into investing in moving forward in my life, not repeating some old patterns, learning to love myself. In the Knight of Cups, a Pisces energy, to have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. There can be a part of me in the Fool card, which is fire sign energy. There could be a part of me that would like to go repeat some old patterns, but out of love for myself. And the Fool and the Three of Wands is Aries energy, which is about the self. I'm going to offer love to myself. I have a dream. Though there's a part of me that could like to want to repeat some old patterns, I've been in the Hangman enlightened to the truth that some people I might have wanted to be in a relationship with, I could have offered them truth and love and they rejected it. Well, I need to see the truth of it because the truth sets us free. And the Hangman is about being enlightened to the truth. Some people don't want to manifest from love. Some people don't want to look at life from any other perspective. And I do look at life from a different perspective than they might. And I accept the truth of it in the Page of Pentacles. Everybody has their way of viewing life. We'll kind of come back and talk about this from a more shadowy perspective in a minute. But I've seen the truth, and I accept the truth. If they were motivated and inspired to work together with me in a more just and fair, hopeful, believing nature from love, they would. And if that's not their truth, then that's not their truth, and I accept the truth. And then in the Fool card, I'm ready to go on a new journey. I went on that journey. I saw that some people weren't interested in manifesting from love, weren't interested in looking at life from any other perspective. They have their perspective, and in their free will, they have the right to look at life from whatever perspective they want. But I could have felt like it was like nothing new is growing there, is what the Death card can mean. That people want to keep moving forward the way they move forward. In shadow, the Hangman can be, I have a way of looking at life. This is how I want to live my life. This is how I want to keep moving forward. And they don't want to give birth to anything new. You could find them, it's like, I want to keep doing this. You, instead of being over here, you should keep wanting to do it this way. This is the way I want to do it. And I don't want to do love. And in shadow, the Four of Cups in Cancer energy can just be that some people in their Cancer energy of self, everybody taps into Cancer energy, that they could have shadowy Pisces can be that they kind of have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. That it is more about maybe what they want to manifest, their truth. I have my truth. I have my way of living life. I want to be in a relationship with other people, but it's kind of more about me and my truth. Well, if you're going to work together with other people, they have their dreams, you have your dreams, you're supposed to work cooperatively together for a common dream. And some people are like, well, no, that's not how I view life. I think it should be more about me. And I don't want to look at life from any other perspective. And I could have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. And so long as they can find someone who is willing to move forward with them in that way, well, then they found the right person for them. But sometimes we get more mismatched relationships, and the Magician can talk about the fact that some people are trying to manipulate people, trying to confuse them about the truth of who they are. That they're really not motivated by truth and love and justice and fairness and acting with character and integrity. That's just an illusion of love that they create to try to get someone to get in a relationship with them or come work for them, right? We've probably all went and worked somewhere where when you went in for the interview, they're like, oh, yes, we're ready to move forward. And some things didn't work out. And, we're these encouraging, supportive people. And there'll be lots of opportunity for you. And then you go take the job. And then you find out, oh, my goodness. These people aren't who they said they were at all. And they're manipulative and stubborn and prideful and immature and maybe bossy or controlling or intimidating or superficial and shallow, and oh my gosh, this was a mistake. But anybody who's trying to not be truthful and honest and authentic tries to manipulate people to get them in a friendship, a job, or a relationship with them. And then they're hoping that the other people don't love and believe in themselves enough to stand up for themselves. And the Page of Swords can be Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. You might have your idea of what you think is just and fair and your idea of the dream work environment or friendship or relationship, but I have mine. And I'm moving away from you because I have my own dream. But they're counting on the fact that, once we do get into things, we'd really like those things to work out, and we can put a lot of work and effort trying to make things victorious and successful. That's what kind of loving, hopeful, believing people do, because they have hope and faith and belief that things can work out, and they can kind of be defensive of seeing the truth and dealing with the truth, keep thinking that, oh no, one day they'll look at things differently. Oh no, one day they'll be more grow up or get out of their ego or their immature nature or their bossy nature, their egoic nature or whatever. But there comes a time, we can repeat that pattern many times, but then we feel like we're missing an opportunity in love. And the truth is, we can either work with people who are kind of creating a little hell on earth, manipulative, shadowy, bossy, controlling, intimidating, prideful, stubborn, immature. But in a world of duality, if that is what is occurring, that means high vibe energy, there's an option, because we have free will to pick this or pick that. And if we work through our own fears and insecurities about loving and believing in ourselves and listening to our intuition, our inner child, creative, inspired, hopeful, believing nature is saying, please listen to your intuition. Please move away from this. Please do the work to emotionally detach. Scorpio is water sign energy, and Scorpio is fixed sign energy. So again, we get in something and it can be hard to, Scorpio talks about we're these emotionally complex human beings. We can have a lot of contradictory thoughts and feelings about people. I hate them, I love them, I don't want to see them, I hope they call me tomorrow, kind of thing. And we kind of have to quit letting our more loving nature be manipulated by people who are kind of more aligned with they're more in their earth sign energy. So the pages can represent all three of whatever sign they represent. So sometimes we get in some mismatched relationships, and some people in their worldly nature of Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, their long-term goal and kind of more what drives them, motivates them, and their philosophy of life is they are more aligned with their more worldly, egoic view of life. Either more about, we should get in a relationship. This looks victorious and successful. We look like we've moved on. We've healed. We've grown. We've matured. Or more about ego and image and money and materialism, or just themselves. But they create the illusion like they've moved on, they've changed, they've healed, they've grown, they've looked at life differently. But they really haven't. The truth sets us free. We have to be enlightened to the truth. And some people have the idea, well, something didn't work out the way I wanted, but I refuse to look at life from any other perspective. I know I have an idea. I'll just go make an offer to someone else. That's the answer. I'll get someone else to work here. That last person left. I don't want to see the truth about why that person left. I don't want anyone else to see the truth. I will try to manipulate people about the truth about why those people left. No, it wasn't me. No, I wasn't immature. No, I wasn't bossy and controlling. No, I didn't make some foolish decisions in that relationship. No, I didn't try to manipulate that person. I wasn't more about myself. And they get another employee, or they go get another job, or they get in a different relationship. But they're the same person they were. It's just trying to create the illusion that they're not the same person they were before. Other people really do see the truth. Other people really do learn lessons. Other people do work through their fears, their insecurity, learn the lessons they were meant to learn from that phase of life, and they detach from an old phase of life, and they really are like shed a layer of their more worldly, egoic, fearful, whatever, codependent, insecure nature to have more hope and faith and belief in themselves. And the other people didn't. And the high vibe people are standing up for themselves, and they're investing now more in the people in their life who they offer love and encouragement and truth to, who in turn say, this person offered me in high vibe the pentacles truth and love, and they want to move forward with me to bring a dream into reality. And the people who are open to that are the people that say, yeah, come along with us. Let's be friends, work here, let's date, whatever it might be if you're single. And while they're doing that, the other people try to create the illusion with the next job, the next friendship, the next relationship, but they really still view life the way they view it. It's just to get a new job, get in a new relationship, to make it look like they've moved on too, and that their dreams are coming into reality. But they view life exactly the same way they did in the last situation. And so long as the person they're in a relationship buys into the illusion of who they try to present themselves as being, they'll kind of keep moving forward in the relationship. But if, again, it's a more mismatched relationship, again, the next person is kind of like, well, I thought you said that you had detached from that, and that you're ready to move forward in life differently, and that you maybe were the healed and grown and mature person, and the other person was the more immature person. But as I keep moving forward in a relationship with you, I'm the next person trying to offer you love and encouragement to bring a dream into reality, but you keep seeming to kind of want to repeat this old pattern where we're not really bringing the dream into reality. And then they start to feel like kind of confused and stuck and manipulated. I thought you said you were ready to move forward in life differently. I thought you'd healed and grown and matured yourself, that was over, that was done. But the thing is, for some people, that isn't the truth. Shadowy people try to manipulate other people to get them to do what they want. Sometimes people just get in another relationship to try to manipulate someone else to come back and get in a relationship with them and do it the way they want them to do it. And then they get in relationships with other people, and those people are just another pawn in their game. Well, I was trying to manipulate this person. Well, that's not what you said. I know, but I was just trying. I didn't like that they moved on. I felt stuck. I wanted to be in a relationship. I didn't want to maybe invest in the truth and be more just and fair. I'm not inspired by their truth. That isn't my truth. I have my way of living life, and I wanted them to do it this way, and they didn't. So then I could have gotten in a relationship with someone else, hoping that person was willing to do it my way. But again, every time they could get in a relationship, it's not really because of love. Some people, they want to use their emotions and their sexuality and their charm and their looks and their words and their money or whatever they got, hoping people will want to stay in a relationship with them when they're really not kind of more motivated and inspired to be more authentically themselves. Because you're either operating from your defensive egoic nature, kind of self-protective nature, or you're really being authentic and truthful to work together with people motivated and inspired by love. But for some people, no, I'm not doing that. That's the danger zone. I get hurt doing that. I can just create the illusion I'm loving. Well, then other people get in a relationship with them, but it doesn't have like that. People who are loving, they freely give of themselves. They authentically are loving. They're warm, they're giving, they're nurturing, they're supportive. Other people are just trying to create the illusion of being that, and hoping that maybe people just in their codependency or in people's want to be in a relationship, or if they have status or image or power or influence or attractive or charming, that other people, once they can get them in it, that they'll be defensive to leaving it because fear that maybe my dreams won't come into reality with someone else. So maybe I should stay in this, even if, so long as they create the illusion that they love me. And when we go out in the world, they act like love and they quack like love and, it looks like love. But that's the thing. It's an illusion of love without really being motivated and inspired by love. And that's how some people want to live their life. I don't want to take more creative, inspired action to be my more authentic, aligned with high vibe Gemini energy of love. And then when they're kind of in that energy, they probably have other people in their life who live their life like that, who tell them they should live their life like that. Partly because they don't want those people to love themselves and go manifest their dreams into reality. Well, if you went and manifested, being more bold, brave, confident, high vibe energy is being more independent of your more codependent, immature, egoic, doing life more for these reasons other than love. If you were to go do that, well, then I might feel stuck. And it might start to make me wonder why I live my life the way I do it, and I don't want to deal with that. So the other people that can be in people's lives can try to entice them, we have free will, to keep making their life about this. And just like some of you could have moved away from some people that tried to tempt you in your more codependent, worldly, prideful, lustful, greedy, materialistic nature, those people in turn could have people in their life that tried to do that. Just like you could see the truth about them and other people like them, they in turn could see the truth about some people in their life and know that some of those people kind of maybe are more stubborn, more immature, more manipulative, less loving even than they are, I mean, it's all kind of relative, if you looked at life on the whole span of life, like age 0 to 80, and you divided it up into like 12, like high school, that we got these grades to go through, we in relationship to others and those people in relationship to other people, we can all, you can view someone kind of as more immature and prideful. They in turn could view some other people as more immature and prideful. But just because some people distance themselves from some people doesn't mean, that they in turn view life the way you view life. They could have went from 7th grade to 8th grade, but you could be like a 11th grader or a 10th grader in the history of learning lessons in life, right? And so we're still not really on the same page. So one thing we could have learned is to invest in listening to our intuition, which is what Pisces energy can be about, where before we might have been more naive and gullible, and we were kind of caught up in ourselves and these things of the world that we wanted to manifest. And sometimes we didn't listen to our intuition, and I think our intuition was given to us as a gift for us to navigate in this world, and to, when our intuition tells us, I don't think you should do that, I think you should leave these people alone, sometimes we went and did it anyway, right? And we had to learn that lesson. And now, when my intuition tells me, I don't think you're on the same page as that person, I think that person is trying to manipulate you, that person could be smiling in your face, I just don't think they have the best of intentions, I think they're kind of more prideful or immature or manipulative or self-indulgent or not really loving or motivated by love. Might be lust, but not love. Or just not very mature or something, or very independent. still really more caught up in themselves or the world. Now, people have learned to listen to their intuition. And as some high vibe people are detaching from things that used to manipulate them and people in their life who maybe used to manipulate them and ways of living life and viewing life or whatever, things that they used to indulge in or something, as they're moving forward in life differently, there's other people that have learned some of those same lessons, and they're kind of waiting for other people to come up the path of life. I got out of some of those relationships too, and I've been moving forward, and, I could feel like I'm trying to find people who are more on the same page as me. And then when they see that you seem to be enlightened to some of the same truths they've learned, and you're offering them like truth and love, and, the pages can represent that you're just being kind of authentic and getting to know people, not making a bigger offer to people. I just want to get to know people, to see what kind of drives them, motivates them, and what your dreams are, what motivates and inspires you. I'm going to face my fears so that I keep being willing to look to the future, which can require us to step out of our comfort zone, because there's kind of a part of me that this is scary. Let me go back and do my comfort zone. But we offer ourselves that cup of love to keep standing in our truth. And if there's people in our life that we had hoped would maybe work through some of their issues to move forward with us in this way, but they keep like, nope. Eventually we offer love to the situation. It's like, I see that this is your comfort zone. I've already been there, lived life like that, or been in a friendship or relationship with you or that workplace. And I can't live my life like that. I want to give birth to something new. I want to be more inspired to listen to hope and faith and belief and love to guide my decisions versus fear and insecurity or codependency and that's how you could view that some people keep making their life about. Death to listening to their intuition, death to looking at life from any other perspective, death to believing in themselves or believing in their dreams or believing in love, being manipulated by their more worldly nature, maybe being some of them, more about themselves. They indulge themselves. We all justify our actions and think it's just and fair the way we live our life at any given point in time. And if they live their life a certain way, they wouldn't live it that way if they didn't think it was just and fair. That's their truth. It could be what makes them feel more balanced and stable within themselves. They're not ready to move forward in life differently. That would be like out of their comfort zone. They'd have to be more inspired in their fire sign energy to quit being more inspired by themselves, by the world, by their ego, by their unloving nature. And some people are still chasing after people, trying to get other people to love them. And some of us have already been there and done that too. And it's like, I'm done chasing after people who don't love me. I wish you peace. I'm moving on. And other people are still kind of in their ego about it. Like, I am bound and determined to make that person look at me different or look at life different. And it's like, and the other people are like, I'm done doing that. I spent a lot of my life trying to make other people maybe see my worth and value or love me or appreciate me or try to get them to work through their issues to look at life differently. It's like, I am done. It can take years and decades to learn some lessons in life, like to temper your immature nature, your prideful nature, your defensive nature, your self-indulgent nature. And some people will never, and they don't have to if they don't want to. They have the free will to manifest whatever type of life they want. But we just need to see the truth of what they're trying to manifest and what drives and motivates them. And for some, you know, I don't want, I'm not inspired to do life differently. I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. I don't look at life from a higher perspective. I am manipulated and caught up in the illusion of the world or of myself and think it should be all about me. I don't want to do love. I get hurt doing love. It's like, okay. And the high vibe people move forward and let them repeat that pattern because they're drawn and attracted to keep. You can't move forward in life authentically when that's really not the truth of who you are. And some people want to come with you, but this is still who they are, and they will keep repeating an old pattern because they haven't learned some lesson that you've already learned that has allowed you to look at life differently and be more inspired to live your life differently. And so then you're trying to move forward, they're trying to repeat this old pattern because there's something that keeps them stuck, but they might not want to do the inner work to see what that is and deal with the truth of it. Can't I just come with you anyway? I was like, but because you have this way of viewing life and some truth you don't want to see the truth of, which again could be all these things. You're kind of more emotionally shallow and superficial. You're kind of stubborn. You're kind of manipulative. You're kind of immature. You're kind of more about yourself. You kind of have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, and you aren't really authentically motivated by love. Do you want to hang out with people who are? Yeah, because it's great to be around in relationships with people who are loving and encouraging and supportive, but the loving and encouraging people also want to be in relationships with people who are like that. And that's not your truth. And you want me to keep indulging you in some type of, I don't know, some illusion, not willing to invest in taking a leap of faith in love. Let's pretend it's love. Let's act like it's love. How about you be loving and you let me be defensive? How about you be more stable and grounded and mature and I get to keep doing immature things? And eventually the high vibe people are like, no. And when you say no and you move forward, they go repeat those old patterns to find someone who will live their life that way or indulge them in that way. And high vibe people are speaking their truth, investing in the people in their life who are moving forward with them in that way, wishing the other people peace, because they're motivated and inspired, have a different idea of what they think like the dream life is, or the dream relationship, or the dream workplace. And just by your actions, just like their actions kind of communicate to you their truth, your actions, without having to speak to certain people, communicate your truth. And some people who thought they could kind of manipulate you and get you to kind of indulge them are seeing that's not the case. And then they could feel stuck because they did try to manipulate you, control you, intimidate you, and you're just moving on. And then they're like, shit, wow. You know? Let's go look at this card. Okay, let's see. We have two cards here. The Four of Wands and the Eight of Swords. So sometimes we can get, and the Eight of Swords is Gemini energy, we can get in relationships with people, and we can work with people, and people in our family, and people in our community, and all the different organizations and things that we can belong to, right? And we don't really know what foundation they operate from. The Four of Wands, like the Fool card, and the Three of Wands is Aries energy, and Aries energy is about the self, and the Four of Wands can represent the foundation of self that we operate from. In our Gemini energy, are we more about wanting to stay in denial of the truth that it's supposed to be about love, that we're supposed to treat other people the way we like to be treated, that we're supposed to be authentic. And some people are like, no, I think I can just stay in denial of that, and I think I can just manipulate people to get them to do what I want. And other people are like, underneath that is the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords plus the one sword equals the Eight of Swords. And some people are like, I'm not as easily deceived and manipulated as I used to be. And I can be a loving, nurturing, supportive, encouraging person, but I'm going to treat other people the way I like to be treated in that way. And if they seem to be stuck a little bit about investing in working together with me that way, I just listen to my intuition, and I probably see that they do have these certain ways of being and operating in the world, and I don't get up in my head about it anymore. I stay focused and inspired by truth and love to keep moving forward. Let those people live their life, and I'm going to keep moving forward. Apparently, from the 8 to the 7, we let go of an Ace of Swords, that our truths are different. And I'm going to keep high vibe 7 of Swords as I have a dream, and I'm going to listen to my intuition, and I'm not going to be up in my head about people whose the way they operate in the world with people is different. I just see everybody's got free will to be more just and fair and authentic and open and work together with people cooperatively or not. And I'm going to keep moving forward. Now, for some people that with the death card coming, it's kind of like there's going to come, there gets a point where people can kind of try to create the illusion they're willing to move forward, but then they keep doing something. It's kind of like, they battle within themselves because they know that they're could be in relationships with people they don't love, be in jobs they don't love, be involved in things that isn't really aligned with their truth. And they feel kind of stuck also. And because they're more shadowy nature, of fear, insecurity, pride, ego, whatever, kind of manipulates them, they're probably going to take some kind of reckless, immature action because they haven't been enlightened to the truth of love, that they should offer love to themselves to work through these issues, have more hope and faith and belief in themselves and in others and in love. And because they don't, they go indulge themselves in something that they think will be the answer, but they're not offering truth and love to the situation. So it's really going to kind of backfire on them. And when they do that, that could be, it's like one more time, other people work with, the other people don't want to move away. Say like an employer doesn't want to fire an employee. They're trying to be loving and encouraging, same way with friends and family dealing with people. But when the people keep doing the same thing kind of over and over, and the other people see this person just doesn't get it, they're unwilling to put in the work and effort to temper indulging their more immature nature. And eventually the other people tell them, we're leaving. So I think some shadowy people are going to are going to communicate to some people, we're not going to keep moving forward like this, and I'm not going to keep moving forward with you. You might want me to, but from the Eight of Wands down to the Three of Wands, people have to let go of the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands can be that we're either motivated and inspired in our foundation to change, because the fives talk about change, or we have inner conflict about doing that, and we kind of get in our ego and our defensiveness and our pride and our ego, like, I don't have to change, you're the one who needs to change. Or you used to have inner conflict about listening to your intuition and standing up for yourself. I don't like it, you should keep indulging me, and so I refuse to change. And that's when the other people see the truth of it. And I'm not going to be in inner conflict about it anymore. I'm letting go of the inner conflict. You do and act and be the way you want to act and be. But I'm moving on. And I'm not going to be in my ego about it and my inner conflict about it. Because I see that your dream of how you want to live your life is different than how I want to live my life. And you might like me being in a foundation with you, being up in my head and feeling like I'm in a mental prison. And I don't think people who love me would want that for me. So I don't really think that you love me. I think you're a little bit more, so long as it works for you, you don't really care if other people feel stuck, if they feel manipulated. Because it could kind of be, well, I'm showing you what I'm standing up for. I guess if you're not willing to stand up for what you believe in, oh, well, then I guess we are going to do it my way, aren't we? And they could feel like everybody has free will to stand up for what they want. It's not my fault you keep indulging me. But when you don't, that's when they might be in a mental prison. They weren't willing to work together with you from love and truth and try to see things from your perspective and invest in being more inspired to work together with you. And that's when they might have to deal with the truth that I kept indulging my more immature nature instead of being more truthful and authentic and loving. And then this is the consequences. People don't want to work with me anymore. You know, and sometimes that's what it takes to make people look at life differently, you know? It's just like if somebody's being, I don't know, obnoxious, being bossy, drinking too much or something, and people kind of distance themselves. Sometimes that's what it takes. You know, if we keep indulging people in their poor behavior, they have no incentive to change. And it can not be until other people move away that it's like, well, wait a minute. But some people are like, oh, that's it. That person was enlightened to the truth. Time to end the relationship. That person, I was in a relationship, creating an illusion, but then they got inspired to want to move things forward differently. I don't want to move things forward differently. So I guess the gig's up. I would have liked to have stayed in it, but it's time to go. I'll go find someone else who might have experienced an ending, who might feel stuck, who has hope and faith and belief and love. I'll present myself as this just and fair and stable and grounded and emotionally mature, loving person so that they'll invest in me, and I'll indulge in it for as long as they're kind of caught up in the illusion of me. And as we keep moving forward in the relationship, and they keep trying to move it forward, and I keep being defensive to moving it forward, eventually they'll kind of see the truth and they'll be like, wait a minute. I'm trying to move it forward, but you seem to, I don't know, just want to keep staying at this phase, and I'm ready to move forward. Are you ready to move forward? And they're like, oh shit, gig is up. I need to go find someone else to get in a relationship with. Or go find a different job. These people found out I really am not inspired to put in work and effort. But I tried to create the illusion I was, and as long as they kept paying me and didn't fire me, it worked. But I guess the gig is up, and I gotta go find a different job. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Gemini energy that they might not see coming? I think for the people who particularly harness these energies in a shadowy way, defensive to seeing the truth, things are ending for them. The people who were willing to do the inner work to see the truth, those people are moving forward in life. And then there could be people who they weren't being more prideful or stubborn. They just got some lessons to learn in life. Those people might have to, but you see, the thing is, there's some people who defend their truth, and their truth is not loving, really. Other people are more inspired by love. And then there's the people that still have some lessons to learn and they haven't really picked a path. But in the world, there's always going to be people that are like, nope, this is my truth. I refuse to look at life any differently. Whatever way I am or view life, it's just not being motivated and inspired to kind of keep growing and healing and maturing themselves or do love. And the other people are. So the other types of people are going to go repeat an old pattern. And the people who've done the inner work to work through some of their fears, insecurities, past pain, and heartbreak, they're going to move forward. What they don't see coming is the Two of Wands. Why? Because of the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups comes after the Four of Cups. When we offer truth and love to being sad that some other people that we wanted to be in a relationship with don't want to be in a relationship with us, we offer ourselves that cup of love and to look to the future and to align with love and just see that everybody's got their own dreams. They have their dreams. Some people are moving forward in other high vibrational, authentic, loving relationships. And some of the people we'd like to be in a relationship, it's like, oh shit, I didn't know you were in a relationship. Damn, but they can be like a role model for the type of person that we're looking for. Some people, we offered love to the situation to maybe quit taking action as we move forward towards an old dream and an old way of living life and how we thought our dreams were going to come into reality in the Three of Wands. To realize that's not happening, and so then we let go of taking action towards that anymore. If we had communicated with some people, but they're not taking that leap of faith to move forward with us, then we let go of taking action towards that anymore because it's not moving forward the way we thought. And everybody's got free will. We don't control people and we don't have an interest in controlling people, and we deal with the truth. Well, then my dream can't come into reality with you. Am I sad about it? Yes, but I'm going to do this work to offer truth and love to it, to keep believing in my dreams that there must be another plan for my life. And I'm inspired to go find out what it is. And high vibe Sagittarius, I'm going to go on this adventure. And I'm not going to keep staying up in my head about it. And then I think as you move forward in that energy and other people can see that you're moving forward, you're no longer taking action towards something else, you've let go of that old dream. From the 8 down to the 2, you've let go of the 6 of Wands, something that you could have viewed as, or hoping could be victorious and successful at one time. And it's also Leo energy that you kind of got out of your ego about it. And when we get out of our ego about it, we can let it go, we kind of make peace with it, and we can look to the future and be inspired for what can come. And I think as you're in that energy, other people see the truth that you have emotionally detached, that you're no longer trying to manifest with certain things or with certain people, and that you've kind of seen through the illusion of it, dealt with the truth of it, and you're ready to go on this new journey. And that's when some other people could communicate with you that they could be sad that when you, in your free will, pick this versus that, and you didn't become more involved in friendships or relationships with them, that they could have been sad that you didn't view them as someone you wanted to move forward with, or they too have gone through a similar situation and they're moving forward in life differently and you want to be friends and we'll hang out and, you know, it's just moving forward, listening to our intuition to meet people who we think are more on the same page as us. But, sometimes other people can see what other people are going through and they might want to be in a relationship with them, but they're not willing to get in a relationship with them. If they think there's still a possibility, they might be more interested in going back to the other person. So then they're waiting to see if the people have really seemed to moved on and worked through it. And that's when then they could communicate with them that, I think you and me kind of seem to be on the same page, or we're in the same boat. You want to hang out and we can be friends and go on this adventure together in some shape or form. What's coming up for some people who harness some more worldly, shadowy Gemini energy that they might not see coming up? And there might be some people who will communicate with you that they're sad, that maybe they did feel stuck. Maybe they experienced something in their life and they would have liked to move forward with you in some way, but either because of other people in their life or other people, the thing is you want to differentiate between the people who are just sad that what they went to go invest their time, energy, and effort into didn't work out the way they wanted, but that really is kind of the truth of who they are. And the people they went to go try to get in a relationship with are more aligned with the truth of who they are. And who are just people that, who do you think who's really been enlightened to the truth and is being truthful and authentic? And who, just because something didn't work out and they might feel stuck, but that really is their truth, but again, could be trying to manipulate someone, So to listen to your intuition about who's who and who's being more truthful, who's being more authentic, keep standing up for yourself, keep listening to your intuition. And it might be kind of sad because some people who you already know who might approach you, or people that you meet that you were hoping were kind of more authentic and truthful and mature, and you kind of find out they're not, and that's disappointing. But again, it's like, well, then I listen to my intuition, I see that's not their truth. Well, God's got a plan for me, and I'm going to go find those people that are more on the same page as me, because my dream cannot come into reality with people who are not on the same page. What's coming up for the more shadowy people that they don't see coming? The Emperor. Why? Because of the Tower. So the Tower can represent that we're operating from a more unstable foundation to build a solid foundation of self and in relationships. So it's to be on truth and love and justice and fairness and balance. And some people are tipped out of balance because of all these different kind of reasons we talked about. So the thing is, the big picture, our shadow nature is kind of represented by the devil. And the devil, in our own shadow nature, wants to be the boss of our life. And that's what the Emperor can be. Our own shadow nature doesn't want us to love and believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams, because shadowy energy doesn't want us to give birth to anything new. High vibe energy, represented by God at the big picture, does want us to learn these lessons and love ourselves and believe in ourselves and work through our fears and insecurities so we can go on this adventure in our life to learn more lessons and manifest our dreams into reality. But we have to learn to love ourselves and have hope and faith and belief in love. And for some people, they think, well, they just maybe don't believe in it. So they think they're the boss. There is no higher truth or justice to aspire to. There are no, if I maybe even present myself and kind of act like a just and fair and stable and grounded person, so people will work together with me and be in relationship with me. But at the core foundational level, they kind of think they can control things. Well, then they try to intimidate and manipulate and control people in their life. And people don't like that. you have to have some hope and faith and belief and love to kind of go with the flow of life. And it's not just about you. And why are you in it? Really? Is it more for your status and your ego and the image can be the emperor? Is it just more about you? Your wants, your needs, your lust, your greed, your pride, your ego, your image, your status? Well, for the people who don't align with people in their life who are more loving and encouraging and supportive of them to do that work within themselves to heal and grow and mature themselves, they could keep thinking because they have a certain image or status, well, no, I can let those people go and I can go do this instead, which is kind of more me indulging my more immature, self-indulgent, egoic, bossy, controlling, egotistical nature. And they keep thinking that people will want to keep moving forward with them because they think, they have people kind of fooled about the truth of who they are. But as they kind of keep taking more immature, prideful, whatever action, other people eventually see the truth that you're not who we thought you were. You try to present yourself like you're more, like you're not this immature, stubborn, prideful, manipulative, immature, egotistical, materialistic person. But by your actions or self-indulgent and all just about yourself, we keep seeing the truth that if you were motivated and inspired to really bring a dream into reality, motivated and inspired by love, and had healed from some of these issues from your past, you would move forward in life differently. But you keep not willing to do that. And then there's other people in their life who do. And eventually, those people see the truth. That the Emperor is also Aries energy. The high vibe people in their life are trying to help them make better decisions in their life. And they're offering these people truth and love and encouragement to move forward with them, to detach from this more immature or something way of being. But they keep choosing not to do that. Nope, not going to do that. Well, eventually some of the people in their life see the truth again. And those people move on. And they think, no, no, no. I don't have to learn to love myself. That's not my job. I go find other people to love me. I don't have to love me. But the thing is, they can look for other people to be the answer to their problems. And then if their problems come back up again, then it's like, oh, well, you must be the wrong person. It's like, no, because I was never the answer to your problems. Those problems kind of are within you. You have to do that inner work within you to work through those issues to free yourself from them. And they're like, oh no, well, that's not my philosophy of life. I think if I find the right person, then all my fears and my insecurities and my immaturity and all those things or whatever will go away. It's like, but they're not going to until you deal with them. It's like, well, I refuse to believe that. It's like, okay, well, then go try to find someone else to be the answer to your problems. Or if you're more about you, well, then go find someone else who's more willing to make it about you. If it's more about looking like a boss in the world or you being bossy and controlling, well, then you got to go find someone who's more willing to put up with you being bossy and controlling. Or if it's more about you and your ego and your image and status or whatever, then you need to go find someone who's willing to work with you to make it more about you and those things. And I think they're going to have more high vibe people in their life leave their life, and the people who are willing to stay in their life either operate from that same foundation, which would be a just and fair relationship. They might not like that other people don't view them the way they wanted people to view them. But that's not the truth of who they are, because shadowy people can try to present, I'm much more stable, grounded, emotionally mature, blah, blah, blah. But that's not really the truth of who they are, but they really like to present themselves that way. But kind of eventually the truth kind of gets revealed. and that they really are more about, like, if they can't control and manipulate people, they don't want to keep being in a relationship with them. If people aren't indulging them in their ego, they don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. When people see the truth and they free themselves from things that manipulate them, they in turn offer them love and encouragement for them to work through the things that manipulate them. Oh, well, no. No, you had things to learn. I don't have anything to learn. You had growing and healing and maturing to do. I didn't have any growing or healing or maturing to do. It's like, okay. Well, they kind of keep, it's like someone who wants to stay like being an 18-year-old all their life and how they view relationships or something. And other people grow up and mature themselves. Were people willing to be in those kind of relationships when they were 18 and 21? And with people acting that way? Yeah. And they like that way of relationship. But now they're 35, 45, 55, 65, and they still want to have it be like an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old type relationship. And other people are like, no, you need to find someone else. And they might find someone who, and we align with our shadow nature. It's like our shadow nature is bossy and controlling of us. They might have someone who comes into their life and is bossy and controlling of them because, if you're going to want to act like a child, you could be looking for a parental figure to come in and kind of play that role in your life. And sometimes other people can watch relationship dynamics and think, why does that person stay with them? If they didn't have someone maybe like that in their life, they couldn't maintain balance within themselves and balance in relationships with more people who wanted to do a more balanced relationship. So then they could have someone comes in who's kind of equally tipped out of balance the other way, that is willing to kind of do a parent-child dynamic, and other people don't want to do a parent-child dynamic. If I'm an adult, I want to be in a relationship with an adult and someone who's more balanced. But there's always other people in the world, and they might have someone who comes in their world and it's kind of could be repeating that old pattern because they haven't learned to kind of discipline themselves. Well, then they could have someone who comes in to discipline them. And that's kind of like the devil too, right? Not very loving, really. Can create the illusion that they're loving, but that's not the truth. They just like being in that type of relationship with people. They equally could be as stubborn and manipulative and immature, but in a more controlling way to bring a dream into reality. And then if these people are willing to stay in it because it is someone who's kind of willing to do that kind of imbalanced relationship dynamic that's equally as extreme as their immaturity level or their bossy level or their whatever level. And for some, they might want and are looking for like a parental type relationship, or they're looking for them to play that role and want other people to be more codependent on them. But whatever the case is, higher vibe people are leaving, and if they're on to the next relationship or job, they could realize and see the truth that, because even shadowy people want, they can be immature, but they want other people to be love them. And they could have gotten themselves in something with someone who they thought created the illusion of love, and maybe create the illusion that they feel they missed an opportunity with them, but they're not in it for love, and they could be in it more for ego or image or status. And then when they realize it, because they wanted someone to maybe make it more about them, that then they're in it, and then they could want to get out of it, but because of the decisions they made or the illusion they created or what they got themselves involved in, and because it could look good by worldly standards, they will stay in something that they don't want to be in, but they're unwilling to get out of it because maybe you have to admit that they had some lessons to learn, that they were manipulated, they were caught up in illusion, they were, just to admit they had some lessons to learn, maybe. And you have to get out of your ego to admit that maybe I didn't know everything. Maybe I was more immature. Maybe I was tempted in my lust and greed and my pride and ego. Maybe I was full of myself and self-importance. And the people who who are like that, they'll probably keep being like that, but they keep thinking they're the boss of other people, and that you'll, like, if you love and believe in yourself and you're not willing to indulge them, they could keep trying to do new things to try to stop other people from loving and believing in themselves, being bossy, being controlling, who they hang out with, things that they do, all to make more hopeful and believing, loving people feel like your dreams aren't going to come into reality. Like, ha ha ha, look what I'm doing. And the high vibe people are like, I don't care. I know the truth of who you are, and I know all you do is try to manipulate people, and I'm done. You don't manipulate me anymore. So you can go play your games and go do what you do and make your life about what you want to make your life about. I've moved on. Enjoy your life. And then when they see the truth that some people have moved on, that's kind of like a tower moment, because they thought maybe in their self-importance that they dictated other people's lives and other people wouldn't be happy without them in their life, or they were the boss, or they were going to have the certain status or image. Well, while they were repeating old patterns, other people moved on and are having their dreams come into reality. And these people are still operating not from love, and the other people are operating from love, and the other people are free. And they're still imprisoned by all the things that manipulate them. So there you go, Gemini. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.